Welcome back. Yes, we have the return. Yes, he's back. He's healed. I would say that his spirits would be, well, I would hope his spirits would be a little bit and higher, a little bit high, raised above at a higher level. But over the past two performances, he's had to sit and watch, or I guess one performance. The first performance was good. The second performance is not so good, right? But he is back. He's feeling better. So that means that we are back and it is time. So I saved it just for you, my friend. I didn't do it in any of the videos by myself because it wasn't right. But when you're here, it just feels like we got to do it. What is up? Everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of The Good and the Bad, the Ugly. Yes, he is back. He is feeling better. So that means that we are going to break down some NFL week number 2 action. All the good, all the bad, and all the ugly. So let's stop wasting time. Without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are very excited to be back. We are very excited to bring you this week's edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yes, NFL week number 2 has come and gone, and man, oh man, did a ton of stuff happen. Ton of people moving to the injury report, right? There's a ton of people going on IR. This season is the season of injuries. Holy crap. I don't think we've ever had this many injuries this early on in the game with so many important people going out. We're definitely going to get into some of that. But yes, week number 2 has come and gone, but it is time to discuss it. Hi, how's it going? I'm Jacob Cutler, one half of the Sports Guys. And as always, joining me, we're glad to have him back. We're glad he's feeling better. He is none other than one of my best friends. He is Mr. Brandon Sullivan. Brandon, how you doing, my friend? How you feeling? How you doing? How's it going? What has been happening?
Well, good to be back, Jake. Just a little bit of a cough still. But yeah, I mean, COVID, never fun. That's my second time getting it. So hopefully, the first time was the worst. Second wasn't as bad, but I'm hoping that I can avoid, now that I got it now, I can avoid it through the cold months. I just don't want to, you just feel, I mean, just like it's just like you're sick, you can't really do anything. You're just kind of in agony. You're kind of just trying to sleep it off. You're not really able to, I can't go to the gym, can't go to the grocery store, don't want to get other people sick, that kind of thing. So I even kind of struggled through that Monday night game when we played the Jets. So, it was kind of hard to watch, to be honest, because you can't really, what I'm talking about. When you're sick, it's hard to even focus. So I'm in higher spirits just because, health is everything. So, other than a little bit of a cold and a little bit of congestion, I'm doing better. So I'm happy to be back, and make sure that you're washing your hands. It's going around. We're, at work, we have a lot of cases that are a lot of people are missing time because of COVID. So, I mean, it may not be big in, Colorado right now, but in California, a lot of people are getting it.
Yeah, it's going around. So I'm definitely glad you're feeling better. I'm glad you're recovering. I'm glad it actually didn't, it wasn't as bad as the first time too. So that's always good. But yes.
Oh my God, I almost had to go the first time.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Let's hope you're able to stave it off through those winter months that are coming up. Let's hope both of us are able to stave it off through these winter months, especially with our travel plans that we got coming up here. But I'm glad to have you back. We got some action to talk about. So let's get into it. Let's quickly remind people how we did last week. Let's put it up on the screen. Yeah, absolute Doo-doo by both of us. We stunk. It was terrible. For yourself, 5-11, 1-0 on the guaranteed victory. The Texans absolutely getting the job done. I was going to say absolutely dominating. They did not dominate. They won by 6 points in a game that should not even have been close at all. But the Texans doing you a favor, getting you on the board for your first guaranteed victory for the year. So that is always good. For myself, 6-10, 1-0 on my guaranteed victory because the Los Angeles Chargers absolutely obliterated. Not even obliterated, obliterated the Carolina Panthers. So much so that we now have a quarterback change in Carolina. We'll get into that. I do have some thoughts, and I think some thoughts that are actually going to surprise you a little bit. So we'll get into that. But not the best weeks last week. So let's just wipe that off the board and let's show how we're doing overall for the season. All right, for yourself, starting off at 16-16, going 1-1 on your guaranteed victories, a full 500 across the board. For myself, 15-17. Doo-doo, 2-0 though on my guaranteed victories. So I will take that. Little sunshine where there's a little bit of a cloudy rain right now, right? But we bounce back. We will bounce back. Now, let's wipe those off the screen because let's get into it. Let's get into this football talk. My friend, give me your good from last week. What good did you see in week number 2?
Yeah, I mean, the Saints have been just knocking it out on all cylinders. Very surprising start to the season for me so far for them. Putting up 44 points. Alvin Kamara having a field day against the Cowboys. Just definitely surprised. I definitely thought that the Cowboys would win this one in a close one. Did not expect it to go the way it did. So that's definitely one of them. Another one is the Buccaneers. They're, beating the Detroit Lions. Baker Mayfield's looking good this year. 2-0 starting out for the Buccaneers. Very surprising. I did not expect them to beat the Lions or to kind of have this start. So, good for the Buccaneers. I mean, I feel like Baker Mayfield has definitely found his home, and he had his struggles in Carolina, but obviously we kind of know why that is. Cleveland just wasn't the right place for him. I don't think it's the right place for anybody. But
thank God he got out of there.
Thank goodness. So, good for the Buccaneers. I do like them. I like their coach, and I like Baker. I like Mike Evans. So, I don't have anything against them. And also, Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers starting off good. 2-0. So, Congratulations to Jim for winning the first of his 2 games. That's never easy, regardless of who you're playing, to come in and
immediately
make an impact. I know a lot of, Shanahan, it took him 9 tries to get his first win. So I know that Shanahan didn't have, Herbert, but I'm just saying it goes to show there's a lot of times in football where, even look at Dennis Allen. I mean, I don't think that he's finally feels like maybe starting to get the ball rolling, and maybe towards the end
100%.
But when he first started, he 100%. Wasn't any. So, good for them. And also, the Cardinals, I thought they were going to win this game. But Marvin Harrison Jr., this guy looks like he is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the NFL. He just looks like, a mini Larry Fitzgerald almost. He was just balling out, multiple touchdowns. Kyler Murray, we might have something here with the Cardinals. So 41-10 domination. I know they didn't have a lot of weapons as far as Puka Nacua is hurt. Cooper Kupp is now on the IR potentially.
I think he's heading there too.
So, just 2 more that I want to highlight that were good also, and I'm sure you're probably going to highlight some of the same things, is the Raiders, obviously.
Baby.
Very shocking the way that they beat the Ravens. Now, I'm interested to see what happens moving forward with both teams, because this may be the turning point for the Raiders in the right direction, and this could be the turning point in the wrong direction for the Ratbirds. I mean, 26-23, this helps you out a little bit because you want those AFC North teams to start taking those L's. You're going to need that. So the Raiders, good for them. 26-23. Deep down, honestly, I'm a 49ers fan, but I was actually kind of happy to see that because, I do like Antonio Pierce and I like Max Crosby a lot. So good for them to be able to pull off the upset. And then last but not least, your guy. The
captain, the captain, baby, the captain, baby.
Guy drives down the field, and we'll kind of go over this a little bit now. So the Philadelphia Eagles, okay, so they're driving, and they're up by 3, and so they have a 18-15 lead.
Yep.
And they're driving down the field, and Saquon Barkley drops a wide open pass. I mean, it couldn't have been placed any better. Drops that pass. And in that moment, I said, I'm going to ask you this. You're up 18-15. It's 4th and 2 or 4th and 3. I think it was 4th and 3.
Yep.
3rd and 3. Saquon Barkley drops it, makes it 4 and 3.
Yep.
In that moment, I think I'm going for the touchdown.
I like it.
Going for the first down because here's the thing: you score a field goal, either way, you get it, you don't. Atlanta goes down and wins a field goal, you're losing either way. Or goes down and scores a touchdown, you're winning either way.
Yep.
Atlanta goes down. The worst case scenario is Atlanta drives down for you. I mean, they go down and they kick a field goal. They're not pressed to get a touchdown. To get in field goal range, it's tied. Yep. So I just think in that situation, you got to be a little more aggressive. You were driving down the field the whole second half. I just think that you got to do that. So major L there. Kirk Cousins driving down the field. Mooney, I picked Mooney up on fantasy. And
nice.
Boy, did he not fail me. I think I had 8 or 19 points. I picked him up because A.J. Brown was sitting. So I had to add him last second.
Nice.
Boy, did he not disappoint. Drive down the field. They're playing really deep coverage. Kirk Cousins, perfect pass on the right side to Drake London. Now, I did when they scored, and I don't know if you feel the same way. I thought 2 timeouts, 38 seconds. That's a little too much time. I did. Philly was going to drive down and kick a field goal. I just thought that they were. Very, very poor decision by Jalen Hurts at the end of the game to throw it into double coverage.
Yeah.
You live to fight another down. You didn't necessarily need to do that. So, but hey, congratulations to the Falcons. We may have something.
I mean, an absolute great game yesterday. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that was great analysis. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I think you'd be a little bit more aggressive in that situation. 4th and 3, right? In theory, you have the better lineman, right? You have the better running back. You even have the better quarterback. So even if you don't want to, put Saquon in that position, you have 2 guys who can squat ridiculous amounts of weight. And so having them push for a couple extra yards, that's really not that big a deal. So yeah, I completely agree. Being aggressive there at the end, especially when you're where you are on the field, you get a turnover, right? You're still putting the ball in their hands, but you're still making them drive the field. It's not like they were on the 50-yard line or something like that. Like they were in their own area. So I think, the Falcons, right? I mean, that was the big thing with Captain Kirk was he never shows up on primetime, never shows up on Monday night. And, for the first 3 quarters, I mean, it was okay. He was kind of whatever. It wasn't amazing or anything like that. But that final drive,
here's the stat. They had pretty solid. They had a 0.7% chance of going down after the Eagles kicked their field goal.
And he went through that defense like it was hot butter or a knife through hot butter. Like he melted that defense. Anything he wanted, he got. Any single pass he wanted, he got. So, good for Kirk, good for the Falcons. I mean, Falcons are kind of one of those teams where I feel like a lot of people don't really have an opinion on them, whether it's good or bad. Most people obviously remember the Atlanta Falcons from the biggest choke job in NFL history. That's kind of what stays with the Atlanta Falcons. But still, I mean, the Atlanta Falcons are a team that could definitely surprise a lot of people. They could definitely make a run. I mean, they're not in the toughest division, but I say that, and we have two teams starting off. We have three teams, starting off at 2-0. The Falcons are 2-0, right?
No, they're 1-1.
1-1. Okay, so we have two teams starting off at 2-0 with the Saints and the Bucks. Then we have the Falcons 1-1, and then obviously we have the Carolina Panthers, who, I mean, now making a change at quarterback, might win a couple games this season, but it's a 3-horse race in that NFC South division. So it's going to come down to the wire, I think, here at the end. And it's all going to come down to quarterback play. Which quarterback can step up and be the best quarterback in the division? You got Kirk, you got Baker Mayfield, and you got Derek Carr. I'm going to repeat that again. The NFC South, the best quarterback is either going to be Derek Carr, who, I mean, barring one amazing season with the Raiders, kind of mediocre, didn't have the personnel that he necessarily needed to succeed there in Oakland. But still, nevertheless, that 2016 season kind of was the only thing. Yeah, Baker Mayfield, who at this point, I mean, it's Brandon's favorite word. He's a journeyman, right? This guy this guy has been around the world and then some. And then you have Kirk Cousins, who, coming off an Achilles injury, if he's able to lead this team into the postseason, would be one of the most miraculous feats I've ever seen, because that is no easy injury. So, the Falcons definitely coming out hot, looking good there on Monday night and getting a massive victory against the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles, man, oh man, no bueno. No bueno at all. What other good did we see? What good did I see? I saw the Buffalo Bills absolutely manhandle the Dolphins for like the millionth time. They clearly own the Dolphins. It's Josh Allen. I mean, man, oh man. What a beast. What an absolute, just what a monster. I mean, the defense showed up. James Cook showed up. And then he didn't even really have to do anything that game. So Josh Allen, watch out for him. It's pretty incredible that he's basically saying, hey, guys, jump on my back, and we'll get us there, right? That defense is stepping up, right? The running game.
I put Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and Joe Burrow all in the same category. They're like really big, like smart, like strong-armed players. Yeah. I feel like all of them can have the ability to run, and I feel like all of them have the ability to do a lot with not much. Joe Burrow, he doesn't have a ton of weapons. Like, he doesn't have a running back. He doesn't have, he has Chase, but he's still getting acclimated. Then you look at Josh Allen. I can't even really name his receivers. Same thing with Justin Herbert. They have Johnston. And I'm just saying, they are all kind of 6'4", 6'5" guys. Yeah. They're all pretty intelligent. They all, I see them all kind of in the same tier, those three.
I like that. That's a good comparison. Yeah, I definitely agree, right? Josh Allen doing what he normally does, handling business against the Dolphins. Right, that side story for that Dolphins game is obviously Tua's concussion now landing on the IR. So this is going to give him plenty of time.
Retire. He needs to retire.
Yeah,
we'll see. If you don't, you need to come in with one of those Guardian caps. You got to wear one of those.
That's a good call. He could be the first quarterback to actually wear one of those Guardian caps. What was it? His third concussion, fourth concussion, too many concussions. That's basically the point that we're getting here. Way too many concussions for somebody who is good at football. Well, I'm not going to say he is good at football. He's a good quarterback, but your health, your peace of mind, your level of happiness is more important than playing a game. You already have money that will last you for generations and generations to come. I get it. You're tough. you are incredibly tough. But Tua landing on the IR again. But a lot of people think that this is going to give him the time he needs to make, to make ultimately the decision about what he wants to do with his future career, right? Whether he does retire, whether he does wear the Guardian cap, or whether he just says, you know what, I'm a football player, and goes out there and just continues to compete.
If I'm an NFL player, I'm wearing the Guardian cap. I mean, it doesn't look bad. There was a Patriots player who was wearing it, and I was like, oh, that kind of looks chill. Like, I'm just saying, like, your life is just so important. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like these head injuries are so common. It's like you could barely, like, there's so many players that have had concussions that didn't even know it. So it's like, if there's any ability to protect yourself, who cares?
Yeah,
the way it looks.
True. I mean, if it's going to keep you alive longer, right? If it's going to get you, a good life in the future, then yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, especially in Tua's situation where he is concussion prone. I mean, we can call it what it is. Like, he is concussion prone. If someone smacks him on his head, or if someone hits him on his head, 9 times out of 10, he's probably going to get a concussion. So whatever we need to do to mitigate that is what we need to do. The Saints having an absolutely dominating game against the Cowboys. Like you said, Alvin Kamara looking amazing. I believe the stat was the Saints have had 15 offensive possessions, and they have scored on every single offensive possession they have had for this season. Pretty incredible. Derek Carr playing at an MVP level to start off the year. I mean, it's the Saints. The Saints, a team that people were not giving a chance in hell, could surprise a lot of teams this season. They are playing spectacular. Another shout out, the Packers. Good for the Packers. I mean, handling business against the Colts, but no Jordan Love, Malik Willis, untested, right? Getting his first victory. I mean, it was good. It was good to see from Malik Willis. Hilarious that the center threw up on the ball. I don't know if you saw that with Matt LaFleur talking about it after, but yeah, the center vomiting on the ball. Matt LaFleur asking Malik Willis why he didn't throw it on
already.
That down.
Your mom's spaghetti.
Yeah, exactly, dude. and yeah, he was just like, yeah, coach, there was throw up on the ball. I couldn't grip the ball. So that's the first time I think every one of us has ever heard that before. The center vomiting on the ball, so it negates any play that you can run because you can't grip the ball. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. But good for Malik Willis getting a big victory there in Green Bay. The Commanders somehow, some way, don't score a single touchdown, but yet find a way to win. It's unbelievable. 7 field goals. I mean, unbelievable.
The Gigantes are struggling.
Dude, the Gigantes, we'll talk about them here in a couple minutes. Yeah. The Los Angeles Chargers, right? We talked about it a little bit, getting a dominating victory. Raiders, baby, the Raiders. The only thing I want to say about the Raiders is Max Crosby is an absolute legend. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend to everybody to go watch the video of Gardner Minshew jogging off the field after he threw that pick, and Max Crosby stopping him and turning him around and telling him, hey, it doesn't matter. You're a great quarterback. This game is going to come down to you. We need you to step up. And Gardner Minshew, I mean, you could see it really got to him. So good job, Raiders. Great job. I mean, absolutely amazing comeback there in Baltimore. Outstanding. I think the stat was they were 0 for something for like literally after, if they're trailing by 10 after a certain time limit in the fourth quarter, they were 0 for like 110 or something like that. So great job, Las Vegas Raiders. Cardinals, right? Marvin Harrison Jr., you touched on it a little bit. Absolutely outstanding performance there in Arizona against the Rams. Kyler Murray, right, coming off of the injury, looking like the old Kyler Murray that we were seeing before he got hurt. Cardinals, like you said, Cardinals could surprise some people. I mean, they could either be like playoff wreckers where they're just going to wreck your team's chances of getting into the playoffs, or they could actually make some noise. So the Cardinals could be a very, very dangerous team this season. All right, moving on to the bad. What bad do you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Cowboys, I think we all saw this coming potentially at some point. I'm sure Stephen A. Smith did, but Big shout out to Skip Bayless. I know your cowgirls. They're not really the same old day, different toilet, right? But
yep.
Jake's cowgirls struggling. 49ers offense. I mean, I don't know. Brock Purdy went up too. Brian Flores and said, "Man, your scheme is crazy."
Yes, I saw that.
But I mean, Brock threw for 350 yards. He leads the NFL in passer yards. I mean, I don't know kind of what happened there. It just kind of a weird game.
They can't beat the Vikings for whatever reason in Minnesota.
Can't beat the Vikings in Minnesota. So, congrats to Sam Darnold. A good surprising game. The 49ers really struggled on offense. I'm not going to put it on defense. Fred Warner could go down as the greatest linebacker in the NFL.
Give him the jacket already. Just give him the jacket already.
Is just incredible, but the 49ers, you got to do better offensively. I don't know how to pin it, but just some bad decision making. Kyle Shanahan probably should have kicked the field goal earlier, preserved a timeout. There's just a few things that they need to clean up, but I'm not worried. I'm not ready to panic at all. We lost in Minnesota last year and we ended up going to the Super Bowl. So that's the only way I can look at it is I'm not saying we're gonna go back to the Super Bowl, but I don't want to panic in week 2. But I really, really hope that they clean it up because man, the 49ers offense looked really bad this week. So just really upset with that. Panthers, obviously, dumpster fire, garbage. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm lumping bad and ugly together. Panthers, just trash. One of the worst NFL teams I've seen in the last few years. I don't even know if it's Bryce Young, to be honest with you. I really don't even want to put it on Bryce Young. I would like to see Bryce Young on, I don't know, Pittsburgh or... Trying to think of some of the other teams, maybe potentially Pittsburgh, or see how he would do if he was on the Texans. I'm not saying he would be better than Stroud, but I'm just saying add some weapons. I mean, I just feel like the Panthers are just a joke. I mean, you got rid of McCaffrey, you got rid of DJ Moore. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Yeah. So I don't know. And their offensive line is so bad. I mean, the guy doesn't have any time. So I'm not trying to excuse Bryce, but the Panthers they could definitely be the first team in NFL history to go 0-17. So they're on path to do that. Your Jaguars, all this talk, you got Arik Armstead, you got Travis Etienne, you got Sunshine.
Calvin Ridley's on Tennessee. Yeah, you got
Trent.
Yeah.
You got Trent Baalke. You got Doug Peterson with the visor. I don't know what to tell you about your Jaguars. Your Jaguars are struggling. The Brownies. So the Browns are not a good team, but I had a feeling. I only got 5 of them right, so that should tell you. I had a feeling that your Jaguars were going to struggle. Another team of yours, the Broncos. You're out there in Denver. There's really cheap flights from Sacramento to Denver. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. Frontier Airlines. I've never flown it. It's some sort of gimmick. Jake runs his mouth a lot. There's times where I'm tempted to click the $57, go right through safe, and just get right to him. I mean, that's going to save me a lot of cash. So Denver, that's where he's at. That's what he represents. He's got that Denver orange on. His Broncos, 6 points. I mean, I don't know how he even leaves his Colorado Springs apartment. So, let's get down to the ugliest thing of the week, though. The ugliest thing of the week, the officiating. I mean, in that game, 4th and 16, it's just like a Hail Mary. You let it play out. You don't ruin a game. You don't ruin a game by throwing a flag on 4th and 16, a bailout flag where the catch probably was not going to be made. So I don't think that the guy that got pass interference with the hit and run should even be on the field. I don't think Rice should be on the field. I think that everything about the Chiefs is inexcusable to me. I just absolutely think the favoritism and the Taylor Swift in the building and just everything has left a really bad taste in my mouth about the NFL. And it's really hard for me to get excited to want to watch it, because what I'm seeing is favoritism to the absolute 9th degree. It's unbelievable that they would throw a flag in that situation. That is the worst call I've ever seen. The game should have absolutely been over. You don't bail somebody out on 4th and 16. You just don't. And, you know, the way I see it, the defender had every right to make a play on that football as the offensive player. So that really pissed me off. I'm really upset with the NFL. Changes have got to be made. It's clear. You don't make it so obvious. Don't make it so obvious. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has the most interceptions called back by holding calls.
Yeah.
He has the most turnovers since he's entered the league by far. Turned over because of penalty.
Yep. I mean, all good points. All good points. I mean, with the new instant reaction videos, right? Small plug down there at the bottom. With the new instant reaction videos that I'm bringing you with the Bengals, right? You guys will be able to get some in-depth thoughts of what I'm feeling after these games. And I definitely wasn't happy. I completely agree. And here's the thing. My whole thing on the last play is fine. If that's pass interference, then that was easily an offensive face mask on Sam Hubbard. You can't call one without calling the other. Both penalties offset. We replay the down. Whatever happens, happens. They convert it. They don't convert it. They don't. But if you're going to call one thing, you can't just be like, oh, well, we're not going to call this over here. Just call it down the middle, have offsetting penalties, let's move on. Like, it was not good. It was not a good way to end the game. And the most embarrassing thing for the NFL, and the NFL should be absolutely embarrassed, that this was the highest viewed game on CBS since 1998. And it was the late afternoon game. That's what I got to say to you, NFL jack-offs. Get the hell out of here. What the hell are you doing? What are you doing?
Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Sunday, Monday, give me prime time. Now we're going to have the Bengals on a doubleheader Monday night game against the Commanders? What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, yeah, okay. That's what I got to say about that. This is what I got to say about Bryce. I blame one group of people, and I only blame them, and that is the media. Yes, that is you, media. That is ESPN. That is all these people who hyped Bryce Young up to be the number 1 draft pick. This dude's a 6th-round pick at best. At best, number 1 draft pick. What are we talking about? You put the kid in the worst situation possible. You put a kid who should not be a starter. He is a backup. Nothing about Bryce Young screams starter. The man had all elite athletes at Alabama. Anybody can look good. Mac Jones looked good, folks, at Alabama. Where is Mac Jones now? Backing up Trevor Lawrence's ass. Exactly. Alabama quarterbacks are not good. Sorry. It's just facts. Sure. Alabama quarterbacks are not good. And for the fact that the media hyped this kid up to be better than CJ Stroud, good for CJ Stroud. Good for him. Actually getting to be placed in a good situation. You send a kid who is a backup to the worst situation in football. You get him no weapons. You get him no help.
Nada.
You try to bring in a coach to help him. You let him walk after 11 games. Then 2 games into this year, you're already benching him. After the coach just said that we were not going to bench him. Horrible handling of Bryce Young. Absolutely horrible handling. So this is what I got to say. I don't hate Bryce Young. I have no ill feelings against Bryce Young. I don't think he's ready to be a starting quarterback. But what I do hope is he has a Geno Smith redemption tour at some point in his career so that he can experience what it's like to be actually a good quarterback in the NFL. He deserves it. The Panthers have done him wrong. It is on Bryce just as much as it is on everybody else in that building. He's got to step up. He's got to grow. He's got to get bigger. He's got to get stronger. He's got to take it more seriously. But at the end of the day, you have to set up your very, very undersized quarterback with actual weapons so that way he can perform. The last thing I'll say on this is exactly what the media does. Easiest point to example, 2012, I'm watching SportsCenter. Andrew Luck is the Heisman Trophy winner. There's no question. Absolutely no question that Andrew Luck is the Heisman Trophy winner of that season. I'm watching SportsCenter. They decided to run an entire story on why RG3 should be the Heisman Trophy winner. RG3 had a good season. He wasn't Andrew Luck. He was not. And because the media perpetuated this story about Robert Griffin III deserves to be the Heisman, who do you think won the Heisman? Oh, that's right, Robert Griffin III. Everybody who knows football knows Andrew Luck should have won that Heisman.
To defend Robert Griffin III, though, before he did get hurt, that guy was on an absolute tear.
In the NFL, he was.
The NFL, dude, this guy did look like a Heisman Trophy winner until he got hurt, because he did take the Redskins to the playoffs, and he had some knee issues. It's unfortunate, but I will say this: that 2012 season was magical with RG3.
I agree, but Andrew Luck also stepped right in and took the Colts to the playoffs. So I mean, it's just the media perpetuates a lot of these decisions. Bryce Young, Bryce Young, to me, is not a starting quarterback. I feel bad for the kid. His confidence is done.
5'10", 200 pounds. You're right. I didn't know he was that small. I'm almost 6 foot. I'm about 200 pounds, but I'm not an NFL quarterback. So it's I'm not a big guy.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm a good sized dude, but I'm not an NFL quarterback. So it's like, if I was an NFL quarterback, you better believe I'd probably be 220. You know what I mean? 215, 220. I'd probably be 220. I mean, you should probably be 200 pounds. You should probably be 220. Should probably be 220.
Yeah, I completely agree. So until those issues are addressed, get him out. You're going to hurt this kid. He's going to get hurt. Yeah, I mean, the offensive line sucks. The offensive line has zero confidence in Bryce. When he steps out on the field, they're like, okay, well, it's going to be a 4 and out or 3 and out, excuse me.
I mean, look at Brock Purdy, 6'1", 225. I'm just saying.
That's a good comparison.
The 20 pounds makes a difference. I mean, if it's muscle, it makes. He's got to be. If you don't, like you said, if you don't have that offensive line, you have to have the ability to elude. You have to have the size to be able to kind of take a hit. If you at that size, you're not gonna be able to escape the pocket.
And they were talking this morning, right? Russell Wilson was said that he was small. Russell Wilson came in built. He was built. He had, like Brandon is saying, he had those 20 extra pounds on him to make up for the lack of size. Kyler Murray, the exact same thing. Kyler Murray is built. He has that 20 extra pounds on him. That's going to help him.
Jalen Hurts is 6'1", 230.
Exactly. So,
I mean, that's a big difference in height when you go from 6'1" to 5'11". I mean, Bryce Young, 5'11", 6'1", 2 inches, still 30 pounds. But
that 30 pounds makes a massive difference, to your point, right?
Well, like you said with Russell Wilson, too. I mean, he came into the league. I mean, he's not a tall guy. He's 5'11". He came into the league 215, so even 15 more pounds.
Yeah, and I think Bryce Young was measured at 5'10", 185 when he came into the league. So I mean, that weight is massive. You're going against grown men. This is not college. These guys are legitimate psychopaths. You have to be a psycho to play professional football. Putting what these guys put their bodies through on a week-to-week basis, a daily basis, an hourly basis.
That's why they only play one game a week, because
exactly.
you have that whole week of recovery.
Exactly.
No other sport do they have a week off. No other sport. I mean, think about hockey. Like, even though it's a physical sport, they're playing
every day. Every other
Look
night.
at baseball. Baseball's week. Yeah. But basketball's a physical sport. I mean, you're elbowing. I'm sorry. I endured more injuries in basketball than I did in football. And it just, even if it's backyard or whatever, because elbowing, there's a lot of, you're having to back down people constantly.
Or so rolling your ankles.
While they're playing back to back and all that stuff. And football, that's how violent the sport is you need an entire week to recover. You can't play more than a game a week.
It's a great point. Absolutely great point, right? For those people who have this, right? I mean, it just goes to show you why, like, those Thursday night games are sometimes so dreadful, because these guys just played on Sunday. You get a short week of recovery. They're not ready to play, right? So, it's a great point. Great point. I mean, that goes to show you, what truly these guys put their bodies through. So Bryce, to wrap it up, right, Bryce needs work. And by work, he needs to add weight. He needs to add muscle. He needs to get on a different team where he can just sit behind somebody, learn, grow, and get better. It's okay to be a backup. I've never believed in Tom Brady's point more when he went on that rant about how, sending out these rookie quarterbacks to start right away is like ruining them. It is. Let him go. Let him sit behind Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is he's not a great, phenomenal quarterback, but Andy Dalton knows football. He can easily teach Bryce Young football. And quite honestly, if I had Andy Dalton as my backup or my starting quarterback, I would be happy, because he's a veteran of the league. He has had success, and he can lead a team. So, Bryce Young, aside from getting on a new team, has a lot of work to do. Other ugly, yeah. I mean, the Denver Broncos. I don't think. Bo Nix, I still has yet to throw, I think, a touchdown in the NFL. I mean, it's not so much on Bo Nix at this point. I'm looking at Sean Payton, bro. They paid you $200 million to coach this team, and it's terrible. They're terrible. You ran Russell out the building.
They should have hired, you know what they should have done? They should have just hired Kevin James. He would have saved a lot of money.
They should have, dude. You're absolutely right. And he probably would have given the exact same amount of production that the actual Sean Payton did. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, Kevin James definitely should have been their coaching hire that offseason. And then my one is Caleb Williams, bro. This dude, bro. This guy is something else. I cannot believe that this guy was hyped up as much as he was. I understand, but it's the Bears put this man in the exact same situation as Justin Fields. We got a lot of smoke screens up in our faces that, this Bears team has changed. They've changed. They've went out and got actual pieces. You're right. It's only week 2. A lot can change. But from what I'm seeing, Jaden Daniels is by far the more superior pick. By far. Whatever the Bears need to do, they got to keep working. Caleb Williams needs to stop worrying about painting his nails and start worrying about being a better football player. Your nails being painted, bro? This is like... The fact that this man sits down and either has someone paint his nails or he paints his own instead of doing something, football constructively so he can get better is ridiculous, bro.
Welcome to 2024.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Stop painting your nails and go play football, bro. Nobody cares what color your nails are. Nobody cares what purse you're walking around the locker room with. Show up, get better, play the damn game. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's not college. Stop running around and then chucking the ball to the defenders. It's not college, bro. It's not going to work. Yeah, I guess you guys can see how I truly feel about Caleb Williams. Not good at all. What other bad? Any other ugly? Let's see. Ravens starting 0-2. Pretty ugly. The Cowboys, I mean, that was ugly. That was a stinker. Oh, the last ugly thing. Sorry. Last ugly thing, and then we'll wrap it up. Will Levis, you're going to give Bill Callahan a heart attack, bro. You have to stop doing these absolutely ridiculous plays, bro. Underhand or shovel passing the ball 15 yards down the field. What are you doing? This guy, now he does a jump dive to throw a backwards pass to Spears, who had no idea the ball was coming. You got to stop doing that. You have to stop.
Can we stop with the Levis, though? He's going back to Levi's now. Will Levi's.
You're right. Until he performs better, absolutely right. Until he performs better.
If he wants to correct us. No, we stand Levi's. Corrected.
Your play, bro? Yeah, you're fucking Levi's, dude. You're not Levis at this point, dude. You're Levi's, bro. Until you play better and make better decisions, then maybe we'll go back to Levis. But till then, it's definitely Levi's. Man, oh man. Yeah, I mean, it's just some of the most hysterical plays I've ever seen from this guy. All right. I think that's gonna do it. I think we got through everything. Yeah, looks good. We're on to week 3, baby. That's gonna do it. That is going to do it for this edition of The Good and the Bad, the Ugly. Yes, there was a ton of things happening this week, right? A lot of people heading to IR, a lot of people doubtful, right? Another one like your guy, Deebo Samuel, looks like he is going to be likely, or he will be out for the next couple games. I know George Kittle got an injury in that game and got carted off, so I'm hoping he's okay. Tua is on IR. Cooper Kupp most likely is going to IR. I mean, this season is full of players going to IR. So there's a lot of opportunity for these young guys to step up and make a name for themselves. There's also an opportunity for some of these teams that we're not really expecting to make a move, make a run. Let's see what happens, right? So we're on to week 3. We're done with week 2. Week 2, I mean, for all intents and purposes for us, it was a stinker, so I'm glad to be out of it. We're moving on to week 3. We got some good action ahead of us. But, Brandon, any last words for the people?
Just hoping next week's better. I really am hoping next week's better for both of us. Yeah, just a rough weekend of football, I think, for us both. I think we both had disappointing. We both had some disappointing losses back to back, obviously, for you. But I do see, a light at the end of the tunnel. The Bengals, I think, are going to be able to pull it together. I think it was huge that the Ravens took an L, and it's only a matter of time before the Steelers start taking losses. Sorry, I don't believe in Justin Fields, so we're gonna have to see. I mean, the Dukies, they took an L already, so you guys are right there. I'll say this: we're gonna get into it next episode, but I will say I think it is a must-win for you guys. So
I like that.
I'm just hoping that just give me a better week of football, please.
I like it. Yeah. Let's get a hope for a better week of football for all of us. I mean, yeah, that's what we need. We need a better week of football. That's going to do it for this edition of The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. I am Jacob Cutler, one half of the Sports Guys, and he is Brandon Sullivan, the other half of the Sports Guys. And until our weekly picks episode, Brandon, Jake, we are out.